Good morning, everyone. It's Lindsay Huddleston with SPS back in the building for another SPS Monday Motivation. And what is today's topic? Dear Mama. That's right. That two-word no sound is something that has just transcended the past several decades. When you hear the late great Tupac singing on his rap songs, and we celebrate Mother's Day. I want to send a special shout out and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, including my mother, Patricia England. She's probably going to be on this feed in a little while. Dear Mama, talking about the impact mothers have on our lives, but also want to address the complex emotions of Mother's Day. That's right. And FX has put on a Dear Mama 4-part, 5-part series, the saga of Feeney and Tupac Shakur, and it was amazing. I'm not going to get into talking about the details of it because I know some of us haven't seen it. I was with some people today. Shout out to Desmond Ferguson and opening his new world headquarters. I was with some coaches this weekend, and they said, man, I got to watch it. But it was a very, very good program. But I want to go to a great article I saw in PsychReg, and that's a great resource if you want to find things that talk about psychology, and that could be helpful when I was looking up and researching the psychology of Mother's Day. And what was interesting about this article is the fact that, hey, here's the reality. Some of us, like me, we're able to celebrate our wonderful mothers on Mother's Day because they're still here with us. Who do we have this morning? Got my guy, Coach in the building. Awesome message this morning, brother. I appreciate you. We're talking about these mothers, man. We love our mothers, man. Brother Kevin Marshall in the building, too. And it is definitely something because some have our mothers to be here. Just picture me and Mom Dukes a couple years ago when she came over. We were over take care of some business. We had the Stars SPS event where we were able to recognize some of the top athletes, girls and boys. Mom came and worked the door and handled business. We had on all white, didn't even plan for that. That's my mom right there. So that's my road dog right there. And but some of us unfortunately can't celebrate our mothers in the physical right now. But to go a little bit deeper, you know, there's an uncomfortable truth that there's some unloving and unfortunate, uncaring mothers. And this is definitely not a platform to disparage mothers or anything like that, but I'm talking about the psychology of Mother's Day. And that's when we're going to get into this terminology called the importance of attachment. And what goes with that is what's called this attachment theory, which is a psychological framework that I want to tell you guys about. I'll spend a little bit of time going deeper on this because I think there's a lot of merit to this because it may impact the people and how they feel. I'm able to celebrate my mom. We got a great relationship, but the reality is that either some of your mothers may not be here, and for whether your mother may be here or may be gone, there may be some unresolved issues going on based on whatever it may have been that you experienced during your childhood. So attachment theory is a psychological framework that explains the emotional bond that forms between infants and their primary caregivers, which is usually what? Their mothers. The quality of this attachment can have a significant impact on individuals' mental health and well-being throughout their life. I often say we spend our adult life reconciling our childhood. So if you had some issues during your childhood with your mother, whether she was there, whether she wasn't there, or whatever it may be, that can play a huge role in what's going on. And this Mother's Day can actually trigger that. Every day should be Mother's Day. I don't disagree, brother. Brother Eric Hodge, cuz, good to see you this morning, man. Thanks for checking in. You say, okay, you getting deep. I need this, my brother. We'll go there. This all came out of the fact that I said, let me look into the psychology behind Mother's Day. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, Kevin, because here's what we have. This is what the research has shown, Kevin. Research has shown that a secure attachment is associated with higher levels of emotional regulation, better self-esteem, and positive social relationships. Now, I'm not here to brag, but I would definitely be open with the relationship that my mother and I have. Very great in her positive reinforcement, supporting her, waking us up in the morning with calm, gentle tones. My mother, no matter what she may have been going through as a single parent at the time, raising two boys in the heart of the city of Detroit, I often say when I do presentations that the alumni in my sandbox was drug dealers, murderers, and college graduates. Drug dealers up the street, some murder cats who doing life right now, right up the block, and right across the street, college graduates. So all that was there. That was the mix. So I don't know what my mom was going through, but I just know what my childhood was like, how it was regulated. And I did not want to hear her voice crack saying my nickname, Lenny. That meant I was in trouble and I better duck. But with that being said, this is here to motivate. This is here to inspire. This is not here to pull scabs off wounds and make people feel uncomfortable, but this is to talk about how do we manage the difficult emotions of Mother's Day. I'm able to celebrate my mom. I'm able to pick up the phone and call, and believe me, it is not lost on me when I see her number come up, or I'm able to call and she picks up, or I was just able to be with her a couple days ago when I shot down to the city, and I can always use this surprise thing where I can take my daughter down and have my daughter knock on the door while I call on the phone, and my mom like, oh, hey, honey, and my daughter's knocking at the door. I mean, I do recognize and cherish that, but in the same breath, my mother had she's so... She made comments about her final arrangements. She made comments about, next steps and protocol if the natural order of things was that she was to transition, prior to me, and how the affairs would be taken care of. And I got to give her credit that since my childhood, she's been able to have this conversation with my brother and I, who's no longer here. But even the thought of my mother not being here, though I'm not suppressing the idea, I understand the reality of the world, but I'm talking about managing these feelings. And what I just shared with you was number one, validate your feelings. Recognize how you feel. Recognize if you're bothered by, what went on throughout your childhood and what shortcomings you may have. I mean, we celebrate Afeni Shakur and Tupac Shakur, but Afeni struggled with drug addiction. While she was the one that got the Panthers off during the trial, or the Panther 21 trial some decades ago, she openly struggled with drug addiction. And we all know that feeling, man, when your mama come up to the school. You either want, me personally, I wasn't no reason for mom to come up to school. If she was coming up to the school, something probably was going down, because mom, as a single parent, just wasn't available to do that, and I accepted that. But then we also know that there was those times, man, where some of those mothers who struggled with addiction back in the day and what didn't have the wherewithal, and they appeared at the school, and if your mother or father appeared publicly and they weren't all put together, man, oh, you were ridiculed. Sign of embarrassment. Oh, whose mom is that? I don't want that. Oh, please, mama, don't come up here. Oh, she coming up here and she chastising you, whatever with me. We talking about some real things people may experience, and the kids may have laughed at it, and I'm grateful that my mom had the wherewithal that I never had experienced anything like that. Never was embarrassed by my mom, but some of us may have been. But then we become adults and we understand the reality of the world and the challenge that come, we can be less harsh on what they may have experienced at the time. So what's another thing we can do to manage these emotions we may be dealing with during this post-Mother's Day, whether your mother's here, not here, whatever issues you may be dealing with, is practicing self-care. Doing things to make yourself feel good. We talk about yoga. We talk about exercising. We talk about things where you want to be careful where it's not drug-induced, whether it's drinking or smoking. That's not necessarily self-care because it can have a negative effect, even though it may numb you for the moment. Tino is back here. Tino says she did a great job raising you. Thank you, Tino. You could have ended up gated community if not for her. Hermano, my brother. Yeah, gated community. Hey, you're right. Not the one that Tiger Woods lived in a different one. You're right about that, because so many times young males, particularly, young African-American males growing up in the city, struggle with that. Jack Tripper in the building. What's up, brother? How you doing? Thanks for checking in. You know my mom. She's good people and how we get down. But we talk about, hey, man, dealing with these mothers, man, and we love our mothers. But we know what it was like, growing up and what it may have been. And we know what experiences we had with other people. And they just didn't have the wherewithal right now. And we want to seek that. But also you want to get some support. Do you still need support to kind of manage these issues? And I can't help but talk about one of our great partners right now, the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, a resource there for all my folks in Wayne County, whether you have insurance, you pay out of pocket, or whatever it may be. Go and look at this link. Go check out some of these resources they have. Follow us on social media and the things that we're doing. I'm working with the athletes in that regard. And also just pull up the app. Take your phone if you can, or screenshot this and go back and just pull up the app so you can get some more information about what resources are available and what happens with that. Kevin comes on to say, trust me, I love my mom with all my heart, but we have issues still to this day, and I just haven't gotten over it. And an issue still to this day, but I'm working on it. Brother, you come and you share, and I appreciate your vulnerability, because Your vulnerability is a great sign of strength for other people who may say, yeah, I do have this issue with my mom, and we're still working with it, and I'm still trying to go through that. So, Kevin, the strength that you have to be able to talk about that openly, I think is going to also help other people kind of come to grips with that. And what you've just done is you validated your feelings. You said, man, this is how I really feel. And I'm kind of working on that. And I think it's important that you seek the kind of support to better help you work through that. My brother Jack Tripper comes and says, all good, bro. My grandma was like your mom. So it's been an emotional and spiritual adjustment, man. I hear that. And we know so many times grandmothers have come in and played such a significant role. And this is not to slight our mothers of what they experienced and what they went through, because it's so interesting how the conversation can be so heavy on the mothers, not even talking about the fathers, because there's the story that comes with the fathers. We can say, your daddy wasn't this, your daddy wasn't that, but you become an adult man in the world. And the same issues that you held contempt towards your father for, you may say, Dad, I kind of understand. I'm not saying I'm okay with whatever may have happened, but as you become a man and you live in this world, you see that. And I think we both are recognizing that, and I want to thank my great brothers that are coming on who are really talking about that, because these are things that affect us. Our relationship with our mothers impact our relationship with women. So seeking support is good. If it's just having a conversation, whether it's a therapeutic relationship or just starting out talking to your guys and saying, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'm working through. Is this a conversation you can have with your partner, that's not going to be judgmental and things like that. And lastly, how about this one? This is powerful too. Set boundaries. See, what happens is that we're getting ready to get into the summertime months with the cookouts and getting around. You may not need to go everywhere with everybody, because some people don't have no filter. It's okay to say, nah, who all over there? What's that Kermit the Frog mean? Who all over there? Hey, because you already know. Look, let's start with Jack Tripper, Ramon Thompson, Kevin Marshall. I know y'all brothers good enough, intelligent brothers, good brothers, to where we at a point in our lives, man, where we kind of know how the story goes. So let's not put ourselves in a situation we can set ourselves up for a traumatic or toxic experience. You got to set these boundaries, or you got to say, no, I can't do that with you, or I can't rock with you right now. And we ain't in school no more. It's so funny. There's a show coming up where they're talking about University of Alabama and their sorority rush, and these people are talking about how important it is to join in the right sorority, how it's going to impact who they are. We passed that. We ain't looking for no new friends, nor do we need new friends. So we got to be able to manage what we have in a way that keeps us in a positive mental health state, right? My brother Jack Tripper comes on and said, definitely not a slight, not at all like that. I had two moms. She passed on, so the emotions during holidays is tough, and that's what I'm getting at. That's why I knew that this message was needed right now, because this is a trigger. Can't go nowhere and get nothing to eat because all the Mama Day families is going after church to get something to eat. So you can't even go to your local food spot, but you see the balloons, you see these celebrations, and you have to say to yourself, what's going on with me? And I'm grateful that I was able to have a conversation with my mom, and we talked and had a real conversation what was going on. Kevin said, yes, you have to know right from wrong. That's indeed the case. So this Monday motivation is not to bring you down, but to help us recognize this new thing that's going on. We can recognize as adults our relationships with our mothers and say, dear mama, I love you, I thank you, because at the end of the day, no matter what your experience with your mother was, no matter what she went through, she made a conscious decision to have you. Now, we know as adults, and it may not be as politically correct to talk about, eliminating pregnancy, continuing on having birth, but she made a conscious decision to have you. So now you being in this world, you're able to go on based on that. Will Kevin say, amen? She said, okay, no matter what's going on, he's here. And the father and whatever his thought may be, yeah, I know this is not the Brady Bunch nuclear family conversation, even though that was two blended families to be, if you want to be exact. But I'm just saying, here in 2023, if you're here and you can hear this message, I mean, your mother made a decision for you to be here. So whatever emotions you may be going through, whether it's celebrating your mother, whether it's celebrating her in her absence, whether it's also reconciling issues you may have, we're in a position to do that and move forward. So with that, I say, dear mom, and I want to wish you guys the best. Love my mom. Thank you for all you've done for me. Thank you for just being in my life, being in the life of my daughter. Thank you for what you've done for our community going forward. And I got another good brother right here who can relate to this. My brother John Hagins, Dr. Hagins, Good to see you, brother. I know your mother, who's such a sweetheart, is not here with us in the physical form. And I thought about you when I was putting this message together as well, just to say we can celebrate our mothers whether they're here or not here, and we can still celebrate them whether we have issues that we have to reconcile with them. That's what we can do as men and women. So with that, I enjoyed talking to you guys today, and I want to thank Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network for bringing a great resource that we can say, hey, if you're in the Wayne County area, reach out to them. Let it be that say, hey, man, Mother's Day passed. I want to use this opportunity to kind of, get an opportunity to talk to somebody and, whatever it may be, what you guys are thinking. And that'd be a great thing because it can help all of us going forward. Hey, love you guys. See you guys soon. Thanks for supporting SPS, and take care. Peace.